Welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast. My name is Coach Scott. I'll be your host today. I have a lot of guests here for you guys today. It's an important day. It is an amazing day, and we're very excited to kind of talk about it. But I want to introduce my guests here for today first. Number one is my wife, Stephanie.
Hi.
Number two is Debbie Early. Debbie, welcome from Colorado.
Hello.
And Scott Frassard, who's been a multiple-time guest on our show. Scott, welcome back.
Thank you, Scott.
The reason we've collected this fine group of human beings here tonight, we're recording Sunday night, and we're going to release this on Monday morning, is because today is Monday morning is the launch of our nonprofit, the Ordinary Marathoner Foundation. Now, this idea was a long time in coming. We've been at this for about a year, working hard at it. It's been, and we try to keep it under wraps. It's probably the worst kept secret out there. But today is finally the day that we are going to launch it. And I wanted to bring the crew in. This is the board of directors, and this is why we are here. And everyone's played an amazing part so far. Did you guys think it was going to take this long to set this thing up when we first started?
Well, Scott says no. I had my doubts, but I thought it was going to be longer. But
I thought we'd get it there rather quickly. Not overnight, obviously, but I think some of the hiccups that we experienced along the way took longer than I thought to iron out.
Yeah, I think we were just kind of waiting for the whole tax exempt status to kind of get us going. And it seems that once that happened, movement really started. So.
Yeah, it's been like one task after another. And just when we started drawing up bylaws and, it was just one task after another. And you think it's going to take, just a short period of time and everything. It's almost like constructing a house. I think you got to start from the foundation and build it up, and you have to wait for one thing to get finished before you can start on the next thing. But man, it's been an incredible task. You guys have been great teammates so far, and I'm really looking forward to getting some things done. Now, we talked about this a little while ago. We were talking about kind of like why we got started, and we've been doing the Ordinary Marathon, our charity race now for 3 years. Scott Frassard has been sort of the lead guy for the Ordinary Marathon for the last 3 years. And so we go back to, you've done the race for us, what, twice or 3 times? You did from all 3. Yes.
Yeah. From 2018 on, and this year will be the 4th year.
Yeah. And Debbie's been with us since pretty much from the beginning. I can't remember a time when Debbie wasn't part of the group. Our discussion group started, I don't know if we met on Twitter or on Facebook. It was one or the other. Do you have any idea?
Twitter, and then my dog joined. So.
Oh, right. We love Max. Oh, rest in peace, Max. We love Max.
Max. Love him.
But then we met out in Phoenix, and we've had a few meetups ever since then. And really, I think the combination of the race and doing things for charity and always kind of having in the back of our minds, like doing things for a good cause, with the growth of the group itself, the discussion group, the Twitter account, the podcast, and all of that, it really lent its hand to a project like this. We have a lot of good people in the group, a lot of kind-hearted people, generous people that are active in their communities, that want to, that are runners, and that really they see the benefits of running, and they want to sort of bring it to people who might not think it's accessible to them. And I think that was kind of the initial thought behind the process. And then it went to, all right, well, let's see who can help us. Oh, my friend Scott, he runs a race. He runs our race. And what do you do for a living, Scott? I teach a course on nonprofit governance.
Yes, as part of my spectrum of jobs, if you will, I do teach at a university, and one of the programs I teach is nonprofit governance.
Right, and then we asked Debbie. We said, Debbie, what do you do for a living? What do you do for a living, Debbie?
I'm a lawyer here in Colorado.
But you're not our lawyer. You're not.
No, I'm not. I am not the foundation
Disclaimer.
lawyer.
We have to make sure that we put that one in. And, so you could see when the first two people that I reached out to potentially start this project fit so perfectly into what needed to be done and the plans that we needed to go through, the things that we needed to go through in order to get where we are today. This was it just felt karmic. It just felt like it was meant to be. Wouldn't you guys say? Wouldn't you say, Steph?
I feel like we've had little prompts from the universe that we're going the right way. I mean, the first person that I reached out to for sort of guidance was a mentor of mine. She has her own nonprofit called Family Kind, and the amount of time that she gave to us. I mean, she's had multiple calls with us. No worry about the time. Whatever you need, take a look at our bylaws, kind of to guide you through. Lovely lady, Leslie, thank you so much, because without you, I think we'll still be writing the bylaws.
Well, it's true. I mean, that took a long time to write. Everything's been a project, I think, but ultimately it comes back around to, what is it that we're going to be doing? And I think one of the things about you, Steph, is you've been involved in a lot of charity work, but, and not from necessarily the donation angle, but the behind the scenes, the volunteering, you work for CASA and for all that stuff. And to be able to kind of put all this stuff together and then do some good things and and whereas we take the Ordinary Marathon and we're always doing it for a good charity, we've raised money for the SAM Fund, and we love the people at the SAM Fund, and we hope that we continue a long relationship with them. And we love the people at American Cancer Society, where Steph and I worked, and we loved raising money for them.
We didn't work there; we fundraised, but that's where we met.
You volunteered. That counts as work. But to have our own thing and to have our own, now it's in our hands that we can do good things ourselves, and I think it's just a great thing. And I'll ask both of you guys. We'll start with Scott. What how do you see this as an opportunity to sort of blossom or with the foundation and the things that we can do? Well,
as you know, I've been with you from day one of Ordinary Marathoner 4 years ago, and been with you ever since then. With all of our struggles as well as all of our successes, and I believe in what you're doing. I'm a big advocate for the charities that you've supported and the ones that we're going to be supporting, or the programs we're going to be supporting moving forward. But I just wholeheartedly believe in what it is we came together to do, and I'm so glad that Deb is a part of this too. Seeing her name on a label for the packet that I send out every year. She's been there every year as well. So obviously she believes in it too. But I think that's really the part of it, is we all are moving towards the same direction with a common goal.
What about you, Deb? How has this been for you so far? How has this experience been, and what do you see? Where do you see us going?
Well, I guess I'm actually happily surprised at some of the program ideas that are already in the works. I didn't think things would get moving as fast as they actually have, and the variety of what people are thinking and making this a go. And if we're already moving at this pace today, I can definitely see a lot more going on in the future, and with just different types of programs and offerings to people out there that may not be exposed or have the ability to get involved or think they can get involved in certain types of sports. So we're off to a good start.
Yeah, I think so too. I've been pleasantly surprised, not only with the suggestions, but all of the programs that have been sort of mentioned are things that they're legit, like they can really get done. No one's out of their mind, making crazy, let's bring running to everyone on the globe, or no, it hasn't been insane.
I'm working on that one.
You're working on that. That's your well, it could be, but no one. I mean, there's no program that's going to cost $3 million, and there's no, everyone's kind of being realistic about it right now. And I think everyone's ideas can grow in scope. If there is more funding behind it, these programs can grow and flourish. And I think that it's a really solid base, a solid footing to do good things. What about you, Steph?
Yeah, I think it's going amazing. I mean, for me to see a community that you've built, and we've gotten together. We built it. And then give back. I mean, running has given me a lot. Back in 2012, my father was sick. I was going through a bad breakup. I started running and I started meeting people that were so kind-hearted. So for me to bring that to other people it's my goal. And I think that's what we're here for, and we're going to do it. I'm so excited.
Right. And I think that being said, like, let's talk a little bit about some of the things that we're already bringing to the table. Because I think that's, on a day like today, where we're going to roll out and launch this charity and kind of make it public. And by the way, you can go to ordinarymarathonerfoundation.org. That is our webpage, and you can check out all of our social media links there as well. Follow us on social media, please. So today, to kind of introduce the launch too, today we're looking to raise $5,000. And we think that, I think from a standpoint of that amount of money, it's not insignificant, and it's going to get a couple of our programs, I think, off the ground, which, like I said before, I think that, that's important. It's key. People want to see that things are getting done. Another thing that I think is really important is that none of us here are taking any compensation. We've all kind of pledged not to take compensation, especially through this beginning phase when we're going to need every dollar that we can get to grow these programs and to kind of make a name for ourselves and for people to know that we're out there doing good things. So let's talk about some of the specific ideas that we've had, because we've had a number of them. I'm going to start with Mr. Fassard here, because your program, I think, there's probably two of them that are kind of like the closest to getting started. And I think one of them is probably the one that Steph and I are working on that we'll talk about in a second. But the other one is yours. And I think it's such a personal story, a personal meaning to you. Why don't you give us a little bit of background on that?
Yeah, so the program I proposed, and I should have it ready to launch later this month, towards the end of March. We want to support those somebody from the autistic community to get engaged in the running sports, endurance sports rather. And specifically, we want to sponsor somebody, I believe we have between the age of 16 and 24 that hasn't been in the running community before, but has an interest in it. And we want to set that person up with equipment, shoes, apparel, on-course nutrition, running belt, water bottles, that kind of stuff, but also a coach for 6 months so they can learn the proper training habits to get prepared for an endurance race, teach them about the different distances and how to prepare for those, ultimately culminating in actually engaging in or participating in either 5K, 10K, all the way up to a full marathon if they want. Hopefully later this year. We'll see how COVID goes with that. But I chose the autistic community. It's really, like you said, Scott, it's really personal to me because last year at age 48, I was diagnosed as autistic. And since then, I have become a huge advocate for the neurodiverse community because I want people to be more aware of what autism is, appreciate the value we bring to the community, and acknowledge ourselves as people. We're not less, we're just different. And there's still a big stigma associated with this. As a result, a lot of people who have autism, though we're all different, but a lot of people who are autistic rather, deal with stress, deal with shame, deal with being ostracized. And we all know what running does for us when it comes to reducing stress, feeling like we're part of a community, feeling like we're normal when, we think differently, we experience the world differently. And so it was just a natural combination and something that obviously is really important to me as well.
Yeah. I know Stephanie knows a lot about autism and the things behind it. And she made me kind of watch the movies in the past about it. And, one of the things that always kind of drew me to this is, from what I understand, is someone who is autistic can often learn differently and see things differently. And it's more visual than it is, that social learning is very difficult and
very.
And I think when you think about what you're doing, the sport of running, training for an event that is larger than, something that you grow to, something that you improve in, something that, you can't run a half marathon today, but maybe in 4 months you can. And here is the plan to do it. And that just seems to me like that's the perfect thing for, for someone with autism. I don't know. It just seems to me like it fits hand in hand with.
And it helps deal with those social anxieties. I deal with those on a daily basis, and it will help that person learn ways to deal with those and not be as stressed.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I obviously we're behind you 100% on that one, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you do with it too. Because one of the things that I've also been watching is you get focused on a program and you go at it, like you start reaching out to the right people, and you start you're not I'm probably not supposed to say it this way, but you're not half-assing it. You're going, you're finding the right, you're going after coaches that specialize in training autistic athletes. You're finding, and this is what the foundation is about. This is what we want to do. So Scott, I thank you for your time and all your hard work. I think it's incredible. And this is just going to be amazing, I think.
Thank you very much. And thank you, both for the opportunity to be part of this. I was honored when you asked me, but also thank you for letting me take this program. I'll have more about it later. I don't want to take up time in this podcast about it, but the timing couldn't be more perfect because April is Autistic Awareness Month, and that's when I want to launch this publicly to get participants. We're going to start with at least one. We'll see how funding goes. Maybe we can support two. We'll see, but we'll see it launch officially on April 1st.
Yay! Yeah. Exciting! Yeah.
So, Steph, I'm going to turn to you for the next one.
Okay.
so Stephanie and I, and this is like what we were talking about before. One of the reasons why this is like so karmic is like we're talking about.
Well, the initial plan was I work with foster children. I'm a court-appointed special advocate. I should say I volunteer. And I've studied through a CASA book club the effects of trauma. There's a lot of studies out there that talk about physical activity and the way it can improve trauma. So part of the vision I had for a program was to go out to the community and help foster children introduce the sport in a way to kind of deal with their trauma. I mean, we're not saying, don't go to a psychologist, a therapist. We're saying in addition, right? So that they can do better for themselves, learn goals, have a community, and move on from there. However, my job is very stressful, and for me to do exactly what Scott is doing, it's a little too much at the moment. So we're shelving that for now, and we're starting a program for younger people, and so we can kind of develop it this way. And I'll have Scott talk about the actual program that we're starting. So
I think interestingly enough, and I think my initial program was to go into inner city schools. The city of Springfield is right here, and to do after school programs or something like that. But the problem is you can't just call up the school and say, "Hey, can I take your kids?" They don't let you do that.
They frown upon that.
Yeah, they frown upon just taking the kids. So what happened was we have a very good relationship with our local run store called 4 Run 3. Jill and Tim Murphy, they've done a race for us in the past. And I just talked to him. I was buying my running shoes one day, and I talked to him. I said, and they actually mentioned doing a program for kids. And I said, well, we were talking about doing a program for kids. And I said, well, let's write something up and bring it over to the Department of Recreation. So I did that, and we wrote it up, and we kind of agreed on it. And I was waiting for whatever reason, sitting on the piece of paper for like a week. And then Steph and I went to the diner the other day, and we just started this conversation with these two guys across the way. And the guy goes, "Oh, I work for the Department of Recreation." And I'm like, this is happening. Like this, this has to happen. This is the world saying that this is the way to do it. So the idea is to kind of come up with a plan, and not just like we're going to watch your kids for an hour every week and run them around the track, but a comprehensive curriculum that kids can come, learn the sport of running, learn that it's not always just the punishment for your other sports. Like people actually practice running and they get better at it. And I think there's a lot of lessons, and there's a lot of other programs like this. And I think some of it's going to be like picking and choosing like little things from other programs, and talking to people that know what they're doing, teachers, physical therapists, maybe, or people that know, sports psychologists. That was another one.
Yeah.
People that know the things that need to go into these programs. So it's not just like a babysitter service. Your kids are going to run. They're going to learn something, and they're going to have, something behind it. And then once we can establish the program here with success in our town, then I think it becomes ripe for expansion. And we certainly know plenty of people. There's plenty of people in our group who would volunteer to take the same exact plan, or to, take it and maybe mold it to whatever community that they have, and try to expand it. And I think it's a really great idea. And I don't know, I'm excited about it. Super excited about it. Some of the other ideas, should we talk about some of the other ones? I think we should, because we shouldn't, it's not, I think that those two ideas are probably, just on the scope of being ready to go. They're probably the ones that are a little bit more advanced, like they're being worked on and being ready to kind of launch. And I think that's important. It's important to get things done. And it's important to show people that we're not taking donations and doing nothing with them. We're taking donations. We're putting this into motion, and doing good things. But the other programs that we're working on is our friend Ron Booz. But by the way, should we talk about the advisory committee? Debbie, why don't I let you kind of talk about the advisory committee and their role? Because I feel like I haven't gone to you during the podcast. Do you want to kind of discuss what the advisory board is all about? Well, even though I know Scott, you're technically in charge of the.
Yeah, I was going to say Scott's in charge of the advisory board. He's doing everything. No,
I defer to Debbie. She's been there too.
The advisory board was put together with a group of other people that will be coming up with ways to fundraise and programs to come about, which is why Scott has started the ball rolling with his program. So there are several people in that group. And when I mentioned earlier, there are already programs that are slowly getting off the ground and moving forward. They're all coming out of the advisory council and the group of people that we have on that council coming up with program ideas. And one thing I don't think we've touched on is, we're all living in different states. So there are different programs that are going to be developed in different types of states. And if we can get them to go more national as we expand, that would be great. Like Scott's program is starting out with autism there in Texas, but perhaps if that gets off the ground, we can expand that to other cities across the state. And then if you want to talk about Ron's program, Scott.
Sure. So our friend Ron, he's a military veteran. So he's talking about finding ways to get exercise equipment to military veterans that don't have access to that kind of thing. Some of them, whether or not they're wounded or whatever, they don't have the financial means of joining gyms or whatnot. They have some of them have very limited access to exercise equipment and other kinds of things, possibly training, that kind of thing. So opening up a program that would aid military veterans is right down our alley in terms of spirit. Erin Shepard is working on a program that would develop a track club for deaf student athletes. And, she's hard of hearing herself, and she's a teacher. She teaches deaf kids. Just a great idea. And again, I coach her, and she deals with some of the issues that related to hearing loss all the time. There's things that people don't understand about hearing loss that, like balance issues, the balance issues that go along. Your hearing makes a big difference when it comes to balance. And so for her, riding a bike is a little extra challenging too, because when you don't hear as well, you don't see people coming behind you. There's a lot of training that goes on and things of that nature. So she's exploring that, and I know she's very thorough, and she's going to be looking into exactly the way Scott's kind of developed his program. She's going to put the same amount of love into that as well. Mike Romans is someone else who's been working on a program. I've spoken to Mike a couple times about. I'm trying to think how it's post-athletic depression, I think, is the term that they use. And Mike and I have been kicking it. And this is one of the programs that's probably going to be a little bit slower. But introducing the sport of triathlon and distance running to former athletes as a way to kind of maintain their competitive spirit and physical fitness going forward. Because a lot of times you see people leave their sports and people, they train all their lives. They participate in sports all their lives. They compete. And then one day you wake up and the sport is gone. And if you're 22 years old, you're in college, and you've been playing for 14 years, they don't do anything for you they don't even recognize that it's a potential issue. It's just like, oh, congratulations, you don't have to do any more sprints. Yay, goodbye. Go find a job. It can be very, stressful, I would say. So, and I think, and that program would kind of hit home for me too, because I feel like in a way I graduated college. I was playing football. I didn't participate in any sports until I found running. So I think, just exposing running, just exposing triathlon to those kinds of athletes, I think it's something that's not being done and could be done. So all in, I feel like I'm missing one. Am I missing one?
I don't think so.
All right. But all in, a lot of great ideas. And I think, I don't know. I'm excited to see where this thing goes. I'm excited to see where we are a year from now and how many people we're helping. I think only good things.
Same here.
Yeah.
Yep.
So did I miss anything? We kind of hit on everything. I mean, I'm excited for today. We got, we have a $5,000 goal for fundraising, and I hope it happens. Let's make it happen.
Yeah. I mean, we're calling out to you guys, right? Come and help us. $5,000 in one day. We can do it.
Yeah.
I think we can.
Even if all you can do is pitch in $5, tell your friends, and if they can do the same thing, we're going to have that $5,000 by lunchtime. And these great programs that we have that you heard about are going to get funded. And Scott, I did want to add, you're not just going to hear about these programs at the beginning when we launch them. You're going to follow these stories along. We've got all these different social media outlets for the foundation. You're going to hear about these people that are the participants. You're going to hear their stories. You're going to see their progress and know that your money went to help this and change people's lives. I can't stress that enough, thinking about my own experience. And if I had this opportunity and if I could make my life less stressful, especially being around other people, because somebody took a chance on me and helped me get into this crazy world of endurance sports, that could be a life changer. So imagine what your money could do and the joy that you're going to get by seeing that play out through social media.
Yeah, agreed. And can you imagine like seeing an athlete that we've helped train cross the finish at a marathon, and the smile on their face, and knowing that had it not been for you, for the donations, for all the support that came in, that moment wouldn't have happened. I mean, that's going to happen, Scott. that's going to happen.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, I'm going to send you some tissues because I'm like going to need them myself, I think. But I think we can. Deb, you have anything else to add there, or?
No, I'm good. I think we're ready to get this off the ground and get going.
I think so too. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. We've been working so hard. Now it's time, right?
Yeah, all the work is going to pay off.
We should have had a ribbon, right, and then cut it.
There you go.
Here's our imaginary ribbon.
Finish line. You can add a finish line.
We're officially open.
Right. Yeah. The finish line for all the red tape never, as we're learning, the red tape never stops.
Or we can say the gun has gone off and we have
there you go.
crossed
That's
the
a better
starting
one.
line.
That's a better one.
There we go. Yeah.
That's a better one, Scott. All right. Well, let's wrap it up there. I thank you guys for your time, and not only just for tonight for doing the podcast and getting this thing launched, but man, over the course of last year, you guys have put in hours and hours of work, and it's just the beginning. You guys are going to have to work harder.
It's only uphill from here.
Yeah.
But you know
like,
what?
oh yeah, we hit the fit. No, we're just starting. Yeah.
But you know what? I appreciate that. I've got 3 really good friends out of this now. Something that I'll cherish forever.
Yeah, us too. And really, when we're, you can throw the advisory committee into there too. I think over the course of the next year, we're all going to be, working closely together and really Absolutely. Branching out and growing this thing. It's really exciting times. Again, if you want to donate, you can go to any of our social media channels today and check out. There'll be donation buttons. Probably the best place to go is ordinarymarathonerfoundation.org. And you can find some donation buttons there too. We're excited and we're looking forward to the launch. So thank you guys one last time for coming and doing the podcast. And we'll wrap it up there. And remember, every day is an ordinary day unless you make it extraordinary. So get after it, guys. Thank you guys so much. And you.